All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Clark with Justin Valentovic and Jesse Norman. Fellas, it's been a crazy week. We've been off for a little bit because of the stupid little hurricane thing, but I'm glad both you guys have power. How are you guys doing right now?
How am I doing?
How are you doing?
Great, after being in the 18th century for an entire week. You know, like you said, we had a little snafu with the power, but, you know, nothing like getting it knocked out from Tuesday until Sunday night and getting told 3 different times in one day of when you're getting power back, and then also getting the surrounding blocks around your area getting power back, and then PSE&G, the lovely company that they are, responsive as ever, aware as ever, you know, top-notch employees over there knowing exactly what they're doing. Their system saying we have power when clearly we're sitting in the dark and having to bitch and moan and go to our town and complain to them, and me borderline harass the customer service rep on Twitter for 6 days was fantastic. But I'm finally here just in time for another storm to come next week, so we're back on the same old crap yet again. So we'll see you in 2 weeks when I get my power knocked out again. Not to mention every power line in the backyard of my block is intertwined in trees. So it's going to happen again eventually, but I'm fine. Thanks for asking, Clark.
Jesse?
I'm good. So I was saying, well, see, we lost power up at the apartment up here for a little bit, but I was down in South Jersey where surprisingly we didn't lose power somehow.
Oh, nice.
So that was good. But we're living in 2020. Shouldn't there be ways that storms come and people don't lose power?
Yeah, you clear the branches from the trees.
Well, yeah, but I mean even
just stick the wires
power lines and
stick them
stuff
underground.
like that. Can't we? Yeah, can't we do other stuff? I mean,
it's not like they could try to get the government money, you know, to revamp everything, but you know that's here nor there, and manpower, but they don't want to do that, so that's just them.
No, they don't.
We can really invest in solar power and just put it on the roofs.
But also, funny
works.
story. This is just the ineptitude of what is PSE&G, right? So when we were sitting in our darkness on our front porch because we had nothing else to do, right? The PSE&G supervisor truck, the pickup truck, came circled my block because I live on a horseshoe essentially, right? Block in front of us, power. Main road that it just came off of has power. Way the hell across the other side of the block has power. Apartments on the other side has power. So literally, we're just a little square of darkness, right? The PSE&G truck comes, circles the block a few times, stops at my neighbor's house at the very top of the block, right? They have a full power, almost a full house generator type of thing, right? So it's a legitimate setup. Awesome for them. So they go to them. They're like, oh, do you know where this number house is? Not going to say the road because that's someone's address, right? Do you know where this number house is, right? Well, they're like, oh, it's up the block over on the other side. Like, okay, cool. They're like, yeah, I can't find it, though. They're like, do you have a flashlight? This is a PSE&G guy at this point. He didn't have a flashlight to find a downed wire or look in the darkness of a block that doesn't have power. But mind you, their system still said we had power after they had the supervisor there already looking for it.
That's ridiculous.
They didn't have their own flashlight. So that just shows how competent they are. But thankfully for BBC Electric from Missouri, they fixed my power.
Missouri?
Yeah, they brought people up from Missouri to do a job in New Jersey because they're too inept. But that's here nor there. So let's talk some wrestling because this will just continuously piss me off up until next episode. So whenever we record that. So I'll keep going off then, but I'm not going to curse now.
And I only had my power out for 2 hours, so.
Shut up.
All right. Hey, everyone listening, subscribe, okay? We have followers on Facebook. We have some followers on Instagram and Twitter. But the YouTube numbers, man, we got to get those up. Subscribe. It's not that hard. Go on YouTube, hit subscribe. Does so much more for us. Hell, do Apple Podcasts and Spotify too. But I'll tell you that later in the show as well.
Pat our stats. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Help us out.
It's free, so what does it matter?
It's free. Exactly. Help us out. All right. Well, before we get in the ring, like always, we're going to start outside the ring and a little bit of sad news that came out last night. WWE Hall of Famer, I'm pretty sure Hall of Famer, Kamala has passed away, and it was due to COVID, actually. So, a big part of the 80s, one of the great heels.
Yeah, it was due to COVID. He was diagnosed earlier on in the week.
Yeah, and he passed last night. It came out that he passed. I don't know the exact day and all that, but one of the great first heels of the 80s and iconic look he has, and it's just sad to see him go to this horrible disease that's been taking over this whole world.
And it sucks, too, because that's just another guy from that era.
Oh, there's not many left.
Warrior, Piper, San Martino, well before that, he's gone too. But, it's really just Hogan's really the only
Hogan's really the only
Steamboat. That's about it.
Really it, because
But Steamboat, I feel like WWE doesn't do much with. Yeah, like they don't really do much with anyway.
Yeah.
Because Steamboat was really good, but he was also really good when they didn't really want him to be that good.
He was also a big WCW guy too.
Yeah.
That too.
Him and Flair, yeah.
Oh yeah, Flair too, but Flair didn't come till 91-ish, so.
Yeah, but like the Steamboat Flair kind of feuds and everything, I always feel like that kind of left a bad taste in WWE's mouth.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. Even to this day, it's like if it's not, well, they're finally getting over that where if it's not their guy, they don't want them to be good in their company. I think
that's more Triple H than anything.
Yeah.
I think so too, for sure. But rest in peace, Kamala, on that note. On a more positive note, the Bella twins the other week had their baby boys. So 2 boys born a day apart, I believe. One was at the end of July. The other was the first day in August. So big congrats to them. And
it was planned.
Whoa, okay. Explain your reasoning.
I mean, I'm not a Bella fan to begin with. Like, their whole, like, they just annoy me. Like, specifically Nikki. So, like, this was, like, the cynic in me just says they made sure their timing was together just for the show, for a storyline, because they got nothing else really going on in that show other than Nikki, like, hounding people to practically give her a child and marry her at this point. So,
you can induce labor.
Yeah.
Do that,
so it's going to be big on the show, and it's going to pop ratings.
That's going to be their whole season.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm
47 that they're on.
That's the thing. It's going to be that kid's life is going to be a TV show. So it's whatever. Yeah. So I don't really awesome that they have kids, but
in ring, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I'm happy that they made like a brand for themselves outside the ring. They've done really well for themselves with that. So
another group of people using wrestling as a launching pad. You know,
literally everyone does that.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever you got to do in this world to make a little buck here and there. So, congrats to them. Some more positive news. We're gonna stick to the positive news for basically almost the rest of this news segment until the end. But, The Rock bought the XFL.
Yeah,
wow.
that was my last bit of sports news before I was sent back to the Stone Age and couldn't have – it was the perfect storm of crap for me because I lost power and then I didn't have data, so I was literally cut off from the world. So I had no idea what was going on.
No.
But
wow.
I wonder how Vince feels about it too, that The Rock, of all people, bought it.
First off –
he bought it for cheap.
Lost so much money.
Yeah.
Vince's losses on the XFL, I think, are now equal with his losses on Linda McMahon's Senate runs. I'm pretty sure they're both at around $100 million losses.
Each,
yes.
So $200 million there.
So $200 million in losses right there off of those two things. So that it's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, the XFL was entertaining. It's good, I think, that The Rock bought it because there is a market for spring football. There is a market for a league other than the NFL.
Yeah.
When the NFL has a pretty sizable offseason and has probably what many would argue is the shortest season because they only obviously play 16 games and everything. So The Rock played football. He wanted to make a career in football. He couldn't, but I think it's good for the XFL, especially if he really dives into it and becomes sort of a face and everything and really promotes it. I mean, that's, I would say, probably one of the most recognizable people in the world right now.
Yeah, the biggest star.
Dwayne Johnson was.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson was the number one actor in the world payment-wise, I believe, last year or 2 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. He bought it for literally chump change for him.
Oh, for him, yeah. No.
For $15 million, he got an entire sports league. Now, I wonder if that picks up the contracts for the current players also.
That I don't know. I hope. That'd be nice.
I wonder if they
I imagine they'll bring back the players that didn't sign to, NFL contracts, but...
But, going back to you, Jesse, I can't think of one person who dislikes The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most likable people.
And he's got far reach now, too, especially with his starring in Moana. Kids love him, too, from his role in Maui, so...
Yeah. But if Vince wanted one person to take the XFL from him, it'd probably be The Rock. if we're being honest.
Well, I mean, I think he would want it to be John Cena, but
Hey, maybe co-owners
So-
one day.
So is The Rock officially literally involved in everything but politics at this point now? Because he literally owns a sports
For
league,
the
entertainment,
sports
Hollywood.
agency.
Yeah, it's literally almost everything
Yeah.
but politics now.
Hey, Rock
Yeah, I would
2024,
say so.
Johnson 2024. Hey, you never know.
Do you think they come back this year? Well, this spring, or do you think it's going to be 2022?
Probably
XFL.
2022.
2022.
Depending on if the NFL can get through the full season, and they show, because I'll say this, the NFL I think is doing much less than other leagues on safety
They
and
ain't
what
doing
they're
anything.
doing.
They're not doing
Exactly.
anything.
So if
Yeah.
they can get through the full year without really spending a lot on their players' health, then the XFL might be able to do that as well. It all depends on how much it would cost to keep your players healthy, how much testing would cost. At that point, maybe if there's a vaccine. But if I had to bet, I would bet 2022.
Okay, yeah, I'd say 2022 as well. It's going to be rough, especially as much of the
Yeah, especially this
contact
year.
sport that football is too, being face-to-face all the time. So that's going to be hard to get the season up and running. But good for The Rock bringing back the XFL, basically.
Now,
from
see,
the dead.
that would be a league that would be very easily bubbled in a single season, in a single city.
Yeah, because there's 8
So small.
teams.
They're so small to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a big possibility.
I saw a thing where it's like The Rock should get the league up started now, bubble it in a single city, and open it to college players who, since the season's basically canceled everywhere, let them play and get paid and get ready for the NFL draft.
Fine.
That would be fantastic.
It would.
But I don't think the NCAA, as soon as they started to do that, the NCAA all of a sudden would care about their players and
Yeah,
somehow do
But if those
something.
players know they can get paid, they would bounce. You know,
For sure.
especially use this as a launching pad.
And just to keep up on your skills too, because
Yeah.
when you don't play for a year, you get a little rusty here and there. You want to stay fresh for the combine and stay fresh for training camps coming up when you get drafted. So that's a great idea, honestly. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple last little things here. WWE wants to resume to live television this month, and that's ridiculous in my opinion.
Just keep the pre-records chugging along
Keep the pre-records. There's
until
no
you
need.
until
There's
you
no
can get
need.
until you can get some form of a crowd. Just keep chugging with the recordings.
What is the point of
There
going
is-
live if
Unless-
you
unless
can't really
it's-
have fans anyway?
It makes no sense. Just do your couple of shows a week. To have that period where you film your
Yep.
shows, have them stay home from then on. Then when they have to come back to film more shows, have them come back. It's not that hard. Just stay on schedule. It's working. It's not like it's not working. It's working.
Other than the
and-
little outbreak a few a month, what was it, like a few weeks ago, 4
about
weeks
a month
ago.
ago. Yeah.
You know, other than that little outbreak they had, they've been fine. They've been
Well,
able to recover.
even from a pre-recorded aspect, they haven't had spoilers leak and things like that. Like, it'd be one thing if, when the NXT tapings
Yeah.
used to go on, they were literally live tweeted, what was going on.
You would know on
But-
the Monday or whenever they would film the bulk of it.
Yeah,
you would know
there'd be a
matches
guy-
3 weeks ahead.
There would be
Yeah.
a guy on Twitter who would literally take
Yeah,
pictures of everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So the spoilers aren't getting
And,
out except for the Keith Lee thing. So
But
there's no-
even then, you could almost think the Keith Lee thing was almost used as publicity because WWE has been so good with not letting it get out that how all of a sudden would it just pop out?
I guess
It could have
but-
been kind of like the McFoley WCW thing, like when they knew he was winning when WCW said he was winning the title, everyone switched to watch it.
Everyone jumped. Yeah.
You know, everyone knowing the result would have then taken away from Fyter Fest.
Yeah. No, for sure. It definitely made me tune in. I know that for sure, even though I basically tune into NXT every week.
Yeah.
But it still made me tune in there. Second to last thing, Rey Mysterio reportedly signed a deal with WWE. We don't know how much he's getting, but apparently AEW matched the exact same offer as WWE, and I'm glad Rey stayed because I don't want to see Rey Mysterio in AEW.
But it would just be bizarre to have Ray's kid in a program with Seth after that
Yeah.
without his father there. Because then at that point, what is he defending if Ray isn't even going to be around?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ray kind of had to resign because I believe Dominic is under contract with them to some type of
He
degree.
has to. If he's having a match
So-
at SummerSlam
Yeah.
with Seth now, he has to.
Does Ray return at SummerSlam?
You better wear a freaking eye patch.
I don't know. Does Ray help Seth?
No.
No?
Ray does not help Seth. No way.
I want something juicy to happen. I just don't want Dominic
He's gonna come back with a pipe and help Dominic win.
I still can't take Dominic
hold the pipe
serious.
again?
I
No,
can't
no one
take,
can.
I can't. His head's too big for his body. He looks misshapen. He's just a goober. Like, he's such like a fanboy looking wrestler. Like, it's just not believable.
It's just like he has such a kiddish look to him.
Well, that's the thing. I look
He
at him.
looks like he's like 17 years old out there fighting.
I think he's still 7 in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. I look at him and I
weird.
see his platinum blonde hair.
Me too. And him jumping over the barricade when Ray wins the custody of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad Ray's saying though.
But even then, didn't he technically retain his custody since he already had it?
Yes.
Who cares?
I don't know. That whole thing would have never
work
up
today.
In the court of law anyway.
No.
Last but certainly not least for news, Marty Jannetty basically said he's a murderer.
Yeah, I caught this one.
You caught this one. Yeah. A little backstory to this, which I was just researching a little while ago. He said he was almost raped when this happened and killed the man with a brick. And he was 13, by the way, when this happened. So I'd have no words.
Like, if it's self-defense, okay. I don't know. How would you, like, I understand that, like, it's a terrible situation and you just don't want to be associated with it, but, like, how do you just, like, just subtly bring this up? Like, yeah, this kind of happened.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to go, like, psychologist, but, like.
Neither do I.
Is this a cry for help? Like, I'm, like, unprompted. Completely
I don't know.
It was literally just a Facebook
post. Like, there wasn't a story attached. Like, there was no, like, news article attached, or somebody was like, "Hey, Marty, like, you suck," and he was like, "Shut up, I'll kill you." Like,
or like a cold case, like
nothing.
Or like a cold case, like, reporter just kind of like popped back into the mainstream or something, and it linked him for some reason.
Yeah. I don't. Again, I also don't want to, play doctor here.
No,
but
no.
CTE.
For sure.
Certainly be in play.
Because he came out a couple years ago saying he would like to have intercourse with his stepdaughter or something.
Yeah, he hasn't.
So he's not right in the head. He's not right in the head.
That barbershop window really messed him up.
That barbershop
window. The biggest face turn of all time for Shawn Michaels.
It was the bizarre factor of it is that it just came out of nowhere and just like, okay,
it's like a sickening situation.
What do we do with this now? Like, because he didn't really say like where it happened, so like no one really knows where to investigate or open up like a case for it. Yeah, but also he's like in his 60s, so that's got to be what, like 40 plus years ago. Then.
He's 60, yes, he's 60.
Yeah, so it's 40.
The statute of limitations.
Yeah, so 30, is that 37 or 47?
Math, I don't know.
47 years ago, so that's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be expired.
Yeah, and he was, like he said, 13, but that doesn't excuse the fact, obviously, that this happened, but it was just so long ago, and then all of a sudden, it's just a lot of question marks popping up here.
Dark Side of the Ring, Season 3.
Hey, you never know. We were talking about that the other day. I was talking about it to a couple of buddies. What would be good for Dark Side of the Ring next season? They feel like they covered everything almost. The plane ride from hell, did they do that?
Yeah, but that's not really Dark Side. That's just them fighting each other.
There's nothing like
the Hogan N-word scandal.
Possible.
They did Angle, didn't they?
Burke Angle?
No,
they didn't.
Burke Angle. He's not under contract anymore.
Well, Sean was in on drugs, but they will never let that happen.
They'll never. No. Sean's Christianity, like refound Christianity, he'll never talk about that.
There's not much left. There's probably stuff out there we just don't know about yet.
Yeah.
There's probably some, I don't know, Bret Hart stuff. I'm sure Bret Hart's got some stuff.
I mean, they kind of just went go big or go home when they did the whole Owen and Benoit in one season.
My God,
one of those alone could have been like the fact that they bookended the season with it. Like, could have done. They should have saved one of those.
At least one. Well, the Benoit was good to start off the season. Get the people in there. Everyone knows about that. Even non-wrestling fans know about that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know initially off the bat.
Eddie, did they do an Eddie one yet?
Well, that was kind of tied into the Benoit one, but
Yeah.
it didn't deep
But
dive.
they didn't have their own one.
Yeah, they could
I
deep
don't know.
dive.
Eddie's also a touchy subject because like
WWE likes him still.
Yeah, but this is the weird thing about it is like they like Eddie and obviously like his legacy, but they don't use his legacy as much as they could. Like the only time they ever bring it up is when Sasha Banks does a frog splash.
Yeah.
But
and now that Vicky Guerrero's with AEW,
it's almost like they'll try to shy away from it. Then
basically they're barely gonna mention him now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and his son-in-law was Aiden English. I'm pretty sure because Aiden English married his daughter.
Something like that, yeah.
So and he's gone too. So there's no reason to mention him at all. And that's how petty, that.
I mean, they could probably do Macho Man dying.
Yeah, because they did a Liz one. They did a Miss Elizabeth one.
They could do Warrior.
But WWE already has that rise and fall. So I don't know. The Warrior one has been kind of done a lot, just over time because of how interesting of a thing it was.
Yeah.
It really has. I can't believe it hasn't been talked about at full volume. Like he went on Raw and said about how sometimes your heart beats its last beat
and then died the next day.
Died literally within 24 hours died.
I don't see that happening just because Dana Warrior's involved a lot as an ambassador.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's one of the head writers too, they said.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
they need to get people that would talk about WWE stuff that's not with WWE.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
WWE really doesn't like talking about Macho Man because he's one of the ones that because of his passing, he never came back. Bret Hart came back. Everybody comes back. Is what people like to say. Macho Man never came back.
Not fully in the ring return. No, he didn't. But he was a part of the All-Star video game commercial, Macho Man, in 2010, 2011. So
yes, but him and Vince had their problems.
They had,
and I don't think they ever. I think it would have been a long time until they ever made up.
Me too. Okay, that does it for Outside of the Ring for this episode so far. Let's go inside the ring now, and we start off on Monday Night Raw last week. I know this is being uploaded the day after this Monday Night Raw, but this is
Power, and we still got to do our shtick, so.
So this is the Monday Night Raw from last week. So we had a week to digest this now, so. Apollo Crews becomes the rightful United States champion, beating MVP. Thank God this happened because there were two U.S. champions. We didn't know who was U.S. champion for about a month now because MVP unveiled a new title and Crews was out for a little bit. We don't know why, but they finally had the unification match and Crews won the title. Thank you.
Thank God, yeah.
This match was better than it probably should have been.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm going to be honest. But I don't know. Just what was the reason?
I don't know if Apollo had the Rona or not.
It's just
I don't want to.
I understand
every week.
I understand why they don't want to say when people have the virus and everything.
Yeah, because it's a very bad PR thing for them.
But people just leaving and then coming back and never being fully explained, it's so weird. It's just
this
was supposed to be their match. I feel like at Extreme Rules that didn't happen.
Just kind of disappeared.
So I don't think this feud is over.
But it was for what MVP did with it. Basically by himself on a one-sided feud, it was at least entertaining and interesting enough until Crews came back, till we knew kind of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good way to transition into a new belt, too. And MVP basically just being enhancement talent for the new guys is the perfect role, as he's kind of like the quasi-manager now, even for Benjamin and Lashley. So,
he's a great mouthpiece.
They threw him a bone, patted his stats a little bit, gave him an extra title run if they want to count it. On to the next one.
I agree. On to the next one. On to the next one is the Riot Squad reuniting without Sarah Logan, of course, because she got fired. But still, we have another. Yeah, that too. But there's another tag team in the women's division, which is needed badly.
How is this the Riot Squad? If there's
A squad
two
can't
of
be
them.
a squad can't be two.
No,
That's
a
the
squad
Riot
is not
duo.
2. It has to be 3 or higher. That's
Is,
4.
is that technically the definition of squad?
I put a squad as 3. I mean 4 or
Squad
higher.
Squad is 3 or more to me. I would say like you could say a trio, but like then there's like trio, squad, faction, all those kind of things. But I would never call a duo a squad.
So what are you to call them? The Riot couple?
So the squad is a soldier's most intimate group consisting of 6 to 10 soldiers.
6 to 10? Well, then they weren't even a squad originally.
There were never. There's barely any squads at all.
Minimum number for a squad. I'm gonna look that up.
You could call them. You could call them the Riots. You could call them rioting. I just the Riot Squad doesn't work. I don't think. And also, I mean, I get the Riot Squad thing. Like, I get the name,
yes.
but it's like, who does anybody care about? Really?
But doesn't it then kind of just defeat the purpose of Liv's whole kind of rebranding, where she's now going back?
Oh well, we already knew that.
Yeah.
They never cared about that, Justin. We cared about that. They never cared.
No.
Liv never even like rebranded. What was her rebranding gimmick?
She was a lesbian for a day, and then that's it.
What? It was.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Trust me, I remember.
Once Corona set in and they went to the Performance Center, that whole angle died.
No. We're not even gonna blame Corona for that one. No, I'm not giving them a pass for that one. They didn't know what they were doing from the start. Lana was like, Liv comes out and she says she like loves Lana, and then literally the next week she's like, I hate you. And it's like, what is the story?
And now Lana's in a tag team with Natalya, it looks like, too.
So maybe we'll get the payoff finally.
We'll get the payoff. There we go.
Yeah, long-term story booking, Jesse. Never in doubt with WWE.
Long-term booking. Just like Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. Long-term booking.
Guys. We don't like long-term booking.
Oh, because people love to complain.
We don't like when rivalries are dropped and then brought back up 4 months later.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so that happened. Riot Squad's back. New tag teams. Oh, not new, but tag teams coming back to the division, which is needed.
All 3 of them now in the division across 3 shows.
I'll give them that. At least they have a tag team. Because, God, they need tag teams.
I feel like they made it out of desperation then, basically.
Oh, every tag team they're making. Lana and Natalya?
Yeah, they're just
the blondes. Like I don't.
The Hollywood blondes. There you go.
They're just throwing.
They could
what to the wall and seeing what sticks at this point.
Honestly.
Is Naomi in a tag team?
What?
Is Naomi in a tag team?
No, because the internet will flip out if she goes in a tag team.
She was teaming with Lacey for a little bit though, right?
Teaming with Lacey, teaming with Carmella for a little bit. But
her and Carmella were in the chamber a couple years ago.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering because I feel like I remember her tagging with somebody, but if you need the best thing for them to do right now, build up or put together like either like 4 to 6 tag teams, put them in a tournament, have them do preliminary matches or something. 2 teams get a bye. The other teams wrestle. Give them TV time.
I agree.
Just let them establish themselves as tag teams and then move forward with it. Don't just throw them together hodgepodge and then just
try
to throw them in a pay-per-view match or something.
No.
You put them in a tournament. Put them in a gold rush. Put them in – do something.
I'd like to see the tag titles.
Strip the belts from Banks and Bayley and put them in a Gold Rush tournament or something.
I think the title should be on NXT just because of all the amount of women they have down there. Yeah. Oh, but let's finish out Raw a little bit. We saw the first glimpses on Raw of WWE's new stable known as Retribution. We saw them blowing up a transformer or something on Raw. That's all we saw on Raw. And throughout the night on Raw, they were messing with the lights and they poisoned Montez Ford. It looked like it was just hectic, and it's
I hope
intriguing.
I hope to God that they know what they're doing with this group, and it's not just a kind of what the hell was that.
They don't, but
No, I know they don't because they still don't have people officially in the group. Per some sources,
yeah,
Hear me out here, right?
it can't turn into the hack. Like if they connect this somehow to the hacker, that'll just be bizarre. Just
No, the
out of left
hacker's
field.
gone. The hacker's never going to be wrestling
No.
again. Stop bringing it up because WWE doesn't even know what you're talking about. They're like, hacker, what hacker?
hacker.
The best thing, and I have been very critical of this storyline for other reasons, the Nexus.
I think it might. That's what I was thinking of. But it looked like for some of the stand-ins, there were a few women also.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I think, personally for me, the best story would be getting those guys back from Nexus and having them, retribute.
retribute.
I don't think the Nexus storyline was ever going to work in general for the first time because those guys, quite frankly, weren't good enough to pull it off.
No.
Even if Cena loses that match, look what can become of any of those guys.
Literally,
Half of them stopped wrestling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think they know where this is going necessarily. I want to know why they're obsessed with, like, what is their end game? Are they trying to shut the show down?
I
Are they
guess.
trying to take the show over? If
Take
if they take it over, you need the lights on. Like you need the cable stream to keep going.
Not for me, you don't. After this past week.
Oh, they want you
Like,
to. Oh my god. I don't know. It's intriguing. That's all I know.
It is definitively intriguing.
And it got people talking.
Yes.
Which is good. Which is what you always want.
I
but-
just hope it's something good.
I wouldn't be
There you
mad if it's Shane McMahon's group. If it's connected to him coming back,
fine.
that would
He
be
could
good with
be-
me.
I mean, that actually kind of makes sense where he's kind of knocking out normal Raw to force them to go to Raw Underground then.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be smart.
that
Or
would be
like,
smart.
if Shane's mad that there's no authority figures
That too.
And he wants to be back in-
wants to be back in charge,
That too. But
that would I think those storylines that we just pitched will be better than what
whatever
Oh,
they
yes,
do.
100%.
what happens.
For sure.
Don't worry, they're gonna bring Cena back. They're gonna have like a 6-man tag at SummerSlam. And
Retribution
Cena's
versus
gonna beat him.
versus
WWE.
Versus Cena, like Bret Hart and Vince McMahon. And Cena's gonna win.
Or Cena's gonna win, of course. Two last things on Raw, just quickly touching on. We're getting Dom Mysterio versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
better be a pre-show match.
No.
Oh,
Are you
no
kidding?
chance.
I don't like Dominic. It's just not credible. I don't care.
They're not putting Seth Rollins on the pre-show.
They put
in
Kevin
general.
Owens. They put Kevin Owens on the
Especially-
pre-show though.
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens.
different. They
I hate
actually
to say it.
care about Seth Rollins.
They care about Rollins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seth Rollins is also Mr. SummerSlam, which is kind of sad that they're giving him this match for SummerSlam.
I know.
That's what I'm
because
saying.
He shows out at SummerSlam. He's like Michaels at Mania. Like he's a top
He
level
wins.
SummerSlam performer.
He wins. He wins, except for Balor, but
Okay.
he wins.
Here's my thing though. If this wasn't a storyline, like if this match wasn't agreed upon by Seth and they're just having him fight Dom Mysterio, what's more of a slap in the face then? If it's booking telling them what to do, Adam Cole to fight a punter or Seth Rollins to have to deal with Rey Mysterio's goober of a son?
Rollins,
Because
definitely.
Pat's like, this storyline, if we're being honest, has been going on for years for Pat McAfee. If we're being honest. But we'll get to that after our little break that we take. But no, it's a slap in the face of Seth, for sure. I don't think Seth wants to do the match. It's just, maybe it's to send Seth away for a little bit now, finally. We've been talking about that last month, sending Seth away for a little bit because of the baby, but
Maybe Dom can work. I mean, they haven't really let him.
But
is
everything
the
they've had,
interesting
my thing with Dom is every time you've had him involved in some sort of a match, it's been a significant spot, right? They just have him doing like the high action points of a match, cane shots, frog splash, 619s. Can he get though from point A to point B within the match in between those spots is the question.
Well, I think anybody can if Seth is working with you.
that's
I
a
think
big help.
working with Seth would definitively help it out. I mean, if they're giving him a match with Rollins, they kind of have to see something there, right?
Have to. There's
Maybe
something.
like you don't throw away a SummerSlam Seth Rollins match.
No.
Even if this gimmick that he has kind of has lost some of its luster, but one thing that I loved about Raw was the Samoa Joe Seth Rollins.
I think he's
Very
coming
good.
back. I think Joe's coming back soon.
Please.
He's got to go to. They got to put him in Underground and let him just.
The only thing that's bad about having him back that he won't be on commentary now because he's so good.
He's so good at commentary.
Him and Kevin Owens are probably the two best active guys on the roster. Who, when they do like commentary, are the two best.
Yeah.
Put him and Owens back together. Let them run the tag team division for a little bit.
Oh, that'd be
just
lovely.
do that. Like if you're not going to do anything else with them, just do that. That'd be fine. That'd be good. Then have them break up. Have them have a great match at SummerSlam.
There you go.
I mean, it's perfect. But no, Joe is so good. Hopefully, if he does get back in the ring, he can avoid the injury bug, which I don't think is as much of a problem since they've stopped the house shows and since they've really scaled back.
Yeah, because they haven't been obviously performing as much as they usually do.
That was with all the Retribution stuff going on and Bailey and Banks and there's a lot of good stuff going on.
And speaking of
that
more,
was my favorite.
That was your favorite?
Even that little instance of Joe was just like, yes.
Yeah.
Please. Because him and Seth, I think, work so good together. And he's like, Joe, you don't want to do this. And he's like, oh, Seth, you have no idea, buddy.
Yeah.
I want to do this so bad.
No, you're right. Rounding off Raw is Raw Underground. Lucha Underground and the Fight Club had a baby, and we're born with Raw Underground right now.
Real quick, though, this needs to be the third hour of Raw. Simple as that. Let normal Raw be... Let normal Raw be 8 to 10. Raw Underground, different look, different show, essentially. You still feel you're contractually obligated 3 hours.
Yeah.
Creatively, you don't have to think too hard. Just say, go fight each other and have at it. I guess someone in creative finally got around to see Bloodsport or Fight Club, and they said, let's do that 20 years later. So
they saw Fight Island.
Probably. And Shane plays the role perfectly, I think.
Well, that's the thing. We're recording
Shane's good in that role.
We're recording it Monday night, so we'll see
what happens
they do
tonight.
part 2 of it. But the interesting is this will definitely be good for the COVID era until they go to live fans. After that, I don't know how they'll be able to pull this off.
It'll be gone. It'll be gone.
It'll be gone, but at least I would like them to build up something. Like, I liked the Hurt Club.
They played their part perfectly, too.
That's great. If you can build up some guys like they're just underground fighters, like obviously Lashley with the MMA background.
Yeah.
But you even throw in I know Riddle's on SmackDown, but you throw Riddle into an underground match, it just works. Throw Baszler in there with a cage fighter type.
I want to see women. I want to see women.
It works. Even if it's only for a month or a couple months or for a little bit of time. Run with it for a little bit. It has not helped the ratings.
No, but I like Raw Underground. We'll see where it goes in the future. We're gonna cut off this part of the show right there. We're gonna be right back after this little tiny break. Back after that short little break right there. We're going to jump into the Wednesday Night Wars, our favorite night of the week of wrestling. Let's start on the WWE side with NXT, and Dakota Kai beat Rhea Ripley and is the #1 contender to Io Shirai's NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver 30, and this was the right move, in my opinion.
Definitely the right move. What's Rhea still doing down there?
Waiting to be in Retribution.
Ooh.
Interesting.
If they kind of make it like a hodgepodge of a little bit of the like the former top people of each show, men, women combined. That actually be a nice little group then. Like kind of like the almost like the new version of the Nexus a little bit, but a lot better.
The new Nexus.
Yeah.
It's people from that can actually work.
Because we have the new Nexus, so this is the
who are like credible champions with legitimate pedigree. I mean, it's good to get Ripley a break, I guess, from the title just so it doesn't get stale.
Yeah.
Because Kai's been on the cusp for a while here and there. Like originally, I thought she was going to win it at Bash to get the number one contender shot.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's been her time for some time since they turned her heel.
Yeah.
So it's just good progression, I guess, for what they've been doing with her.
Yeah, she's done good with the role too. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, she's been a terrific heel.
But Rhea's been like doing nothing almost since her WrestleMania match.
She dyed her hair.
She dyed her hair.
And that Mania match was so good. Like, it was one of the better matches on the card.
Very good match. And she literally had a feud with, like, Robert Stone, basically. And just...
Why?
That's it's their... I saw it on Twitter or Instagram or something. It's their spoof of Tony Khan.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's funny.
I just hope they find someone legitimate soon for her to have a program with.
Whether it's main roster or NXT.
It doesn't matter. Just do something right by her.
I agree. We're going to talk about another title now on the show, the NXT North American title. We saw Damian Priest advanced in the triple threat, which is the right move. He's an underrated talent in NXT, but that's not the bigger story here. It's Dexter Lumis is pulled out of the match due to an ankle injury, I believe he sustained, but that's very depressing for me because I was pulling for Lumis to win this match.
Yeah, I feel like he would have been the most entertaining person with the belt just for the bizarro things he would have done. Like, I could have seen them doing, like, he has an open challenge, but no one comes out because they don't want to just deal with him.
Exactly. Like, it would have been fun, but now it leaves a spot open now, too. And I know they announced for the last spot that if in your triple threat match you didn't get pinned, every superstar who didn't get pinned will be in one match, and then it's
the best of the rest, essentially.
Best of the rest, exactly, and they will get the last spot in the ladder match. So that's a good way to do it. I
think that's the smartest way to do it. Yeah, it makes sense.
That's why I love NXT. They're logical. They're just logical with everything.
Well, that's just Triple H being a progressively smart booker.
Boom. Exactly.
And not just making it, a sideshow.
Yeah, no, for sure. But sad to see Lumis not in the match, in my opinion. One of the breakout stars of the quarantine era.
Who is fully in it now? Bronson Reed
and Priest, I think, are the only two.
Are the only ones that are confirmed, yeah.
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it's just those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I can take a quick look, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go with that for now.
Because SummerSlam's next weekend, right?
It's close.
It's a week from this coming week, so they need to fill that up soon.
Yeah, they need
this week and next week, I think.
Yeah,
they need to do like all the qualifiers.
So 2 weeks from, which would have been, Sunday the 9th, yesterday for us, is SummerSlam then, I think. Because, it's the 23rd then.
Yeah, so just Bronson Reed and Priest are the only two actually confirmed now for the match. And this week, I think, there's a mystery opponent, too, so that could be interesting in the triple threat. So Kushida's involved and someone else is involved, so that should be fun.
I wish the mystery opponent should be somebody from WWE, like main roster.
I agree.
Kind of like
Owens,
Ricochet,
Ziggler, Ricochet, Cedric. I think they should just move Ricochet and Cedric down as a tag.
Yeah, just bring them back.
They need teams. And that's the perfect NXT tag team.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross obliterated the entire NXT roster. Keith Lee, before that, Keith Lee beat Cameron Grimes in a pretty long TV match. Cameron Grimes lasted in the match, so that was interesting. That was to be a squash, honestly. Like, I didn't see that happening. But then, of course, Karrion Kross pops up on the Titantron like he does every week now for some reason. And literally just almost half the NXT locker room is laid out behind him, and he just walks away after cutting his little promo. So they're building up Kross. We know this. We know they have all their cards out and crap, whatever the saying is.
We know what they want to do with him.
Yes.
They want him to be a monster.
Yeah, and it's
so he can't lose to Keith Lee. There's no way. I mean, like, he obviously can, but what?
It's such a
He
hard
should,
situation.
but he shouldn't though.
Yeah, no, I agree he shouldn't, but then it's like, oh, you really used Keith Lee's, momentum. Do you use Keith Lee's momentum to make another star, or do you make Keith Lee the star? Because we just got done one of the longest title reigns that Keith Lee just ended.
Yeah.
Does he drop it right away?
I don't know.
I personally think they should have ran the double champion thing a little bit longer.
At least run it this one
Yeah.
too. I agree.
I think they should have had him defend both at TakeOver 30, and just drop the North American title.
Well, and then
later.
I would say he wins he retains the North American Championship, loses the NXT Championship, and then he can vacate the North American Championship and be like, I'm not a worthy champion. I don't want this belt. Like
then head up to the main roster or something.
Yeah, head up to the main. That makes sense. Then he lost to Cross, but how much did he really lose? He fought in 2 matches that night.
I know.
I just think there were much better ways that if you just think for like a minute or two about it, I think there are better ways to go about it.
Yeah, it's not one of their best booking decisions at this point, just because Cross is so new and so hot right now and on fire, and Keith Lee has obviously been on the run of his life for the last almost year now, I'd say.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I said this before. I said this, last podcast. I just wouldn't put Cross in the title picture that fast.
Me too.
I mean, yeah, he destroyed. Fair, he destroyed Tommaso Ciampa.
But like, he didn't show me anything impressive from it. Like
he destroyed. He dogged the leader of the NXT and everything. But there were so many other feuds that you could have ran.
Too many feuds. You put him in the North American title match and he doesn't have to lose if it's a ladder match. Just have him do that.
Have him. I would have him just wipe out people in the ring and then leave. The Cross character, I feel like he wouldn't. I mean, and we said this about the Fiend too, and the Fiend eventually it worked out. But it was like that character, I don't think cares about the belt, or at least he shouldn't that quickly.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be a thing that he destroyed one person. Who, by the way, Ciampa has not been in the title picture for about a year, and he destroyed him, and all of a sudden he was like the number 1 contender.
Yeah. It's rough. But we're going to go to the main event segment of the show, the biggest story coming out of NXT. Well, first, Imperium retained their titles against Undisputed, whatever. That was the backstory here.
Undisputed's not going to do anything significant in NXT probably ever until they get called. Because they're going to move up eventually to one of those shows.
Undisputed's lock on the show and the hold that they have on the show, I think, for the past year-ish is done. They are looking to move forward, I think.
There's nothing left to do. There's literally nothing left to do.
This, as far as I'm concerned, has got to be the last thing Undisputed is doing.
And what a way to go out. Pat McAfee on commentary, bickering at Cole the whole match during the title match, calling him short again and calling him a bunch of stuff. So after the match, Cole confronts him and all that, and there's a little scuffle, and they make it seem really real again. They have Triple H come out trying to break them up from fighting. They have Shawn Michaels. They have Coach Matt Bloom, a bunch of the superstars, a bunch of the trainers just coming out to separate them. McAfee escapes, punts, literally NFL punts Adam Cole, knock him out, and just leave. Triple H shoves Pat too, and a nice vicious shove, but then Pat just leaves, and that's how NXT ended.
So,
wow.
The most interesting thing to me is Cole's the babyface. Yeah, right?
Yeah?
Sort of. Well, now they kind of switched roles where Pat went at him.
Because he's short.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Cole, if we're being honest, Cole was never fully a heel. He's one of those guys who
he was a baby.
Everyone exactly. Everyone loves,
but his tactics were
heelish.
He always cheated to win.
But now he's put in this situation where I think he is the babyface because the way Pat was acting very, very.
Pat
heelish.
was acting very heelish. I love when he's walking out of the arena. Real nice place you guys got here.
He's the
Real
perfect
nice,
douche.
Real nice work environment.
That exactly.
If we're being, he's the perfect douche.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a frat boy.
He's just an interesting foil to Cole.
But the difference
because
between
Cole's been the douche.
Yeah. And the difference between him and the whole Gronk experience is that Pat actually cares about pro wrestling.
Yeah, he gets the business. He's been around as doing like the kickoff shows for NXT for the last year
Gronk
now.
was always just
a name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Pat knows the business. This feud, if we're looking back, has been going on for years now, honestly. A year.
They've always slowly jabbed at each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Pat was the one pushing for this too, honestly. He was like, we have something here. Like, we can do something with this. This has been going on. You can tell a nice long story about this. And I don't know what they're going to do. Oh, that happened too. They announced a match for TakeOver 30.
Yeah.
But that, yeah.
Also, it's been a while since we've actually had a celebrity match.
Yeah.
You know, to like other than Gronk getting the 24 title, which I don't count.
Whatever.
You know.
Floyd Mayweather?
Was Stephen Amell like the last one?
Stephen Amell. You're right. Stephen Amell. The
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow guy at SummerSlam.
Oh.
Like we had the involvement with Jon Stewart at SummerSlam back.
Shaq was in the battle.
But that
royal.
doesn't really count. Yeah, Shaq minimal, but like legitimately
But
like a celebrity.
Stephen Amell, 2015, I think. I believe.
And before that, I think it was Floyd.
Mayweather. Yeah.
Mayweather. And that we know how great that was.
Didn't they also have the woman from one of the entertainment news channels also?
Oh.
At WrestleMania. She was
Maria Menounos?
Oh,
yes.
they had Snooki.
Yeah.
Snooki.
In the match that our good friend Dante loves for some reason. Loves that pay-per-view. Horrible pay-per-view.
But I feel like Pat will actually somewhat deliver. What do you think his gear is going to be? It better be a Colts jersey.
Better be blue and white. That's all I know. And he's going to have the For the Brand shirt on probably. Like biker shorts.
The thing about Pat, too, is he's probably up to, like, getting hit with weapons because so like I wouldn't be surprised if they like incorporate weapons and stuff like that. And who better to work with than Cole?
Especially
the thing I wonder is if Cole's the baby face now, and I don't know, I've been speculating they're gonna pull Undisputed up for forever. And I hope and I pray, and I've been saying this since before Mania, if you call up Undisputed, please do it with the Drew McIntyre story.
Yep.
Please. It writes itself. They did it when they debuted. They injured him. He never came back down. Please, for the love of God, do not miss that opportunity.
So, say this is Undisputed's last run in NXT.
Yep.
Is Pat really going to pin Cole and send him on his merry way?
He has to get some sort of help from something. I think Pat's sticking around for a little bit. I don't see this being a one-off for Pat. I see him being a manager of something, some sort of something. I just don't see this being a little one-off for Pat, honestly. So he's going to get some sort of help, maybe. Maybe it'll lead to a 6-man tag down the line. Then Undisputed gets called up or something. I don't know. I really don't know.
I was about to say, does Walter come? But Walter can't.
McAfee
I'm thinking Imperium. Like, I'm thinking, what is Undisputed? I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody hates Undisputed, obviously, in the business. But who is a viable threat to come out and help him?
Your guess is as good as mine. I have
Ciampa?
no idea. Who?
Ciampa?
Ciampa might be. I
They
know
can maybe blame a couple injuries of Ciampa's on Undisputed.
So, do we see Pat long enough that he's in the Rumble?
I hope. Have the Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium. Have Pat get a huge ovation. Oh. Oh my God.
Are they going to use his show theme song for his wrestling theme song? Like he's going to need music.
Yeah, he needs music. It's going to be generic rock music.
Yeah, it'll be like a rock
probably.
band.
Yeah,
it'll be from where I got our music from.
Maybe we should have Mike Milano make some music for us.
No.
Okay. All All right, let's move on from NXT now. Let's slightly touch on AEW. I didn't watch AEW.
Neither did I.
I skimmed, but we'll touch on what happened. MJF cut a great promo campaigning for a title match with Mox. The top 2 heel in the entire business.
Yeah.
Fantastic work by MJF. He's going to be a world champion one day. Don't know if he's going to beat Mox. Kind of hope he does because this Mox reign is meh.
Mox reign is fallen pretty stale.
Yeah, it's meh. So that'd be nice. Sammy Guevara almost literally killed.
Yeah.
He threw it. Oh my, sick.
So many stitches. I think. I thought I read he got like 13 stitches or something like that.
Was that from the table?
I'll read the quote because I sent it to you, Clark.
Chair, right?
Basically, Matt said, "Sammy, that literally could have killed me. Congratulations, you're going down in pro wrestling history as the guy who threw the most dangerous, reckless, vicious chair shot in history. But that's not the only thing you're going to hold when you're going down in wrestling history. You're also going to go down as the person who had the most pointless, unlimited potential, but never lived to realize it, because now it is my mission, my duty, Sammy, to end you. Not just physically hurt, but it is my mission to rid you of this business because you don't deserve to be in the same industry. You don't deserve it. You took a chance on ruining my life. People, promotions, they've been trying to kill me literally and figuratively, but they don't succeed. And do you know why? Because I don't die." And he said that multiple times.
That's his new gimmick, the I don't die thing, which is cool, I guess.
If you can't just run the broken thing, I think it's interesting.
I think it's interesting too. I like it.
Yeah.
But no,
just pissed off, get off my lawn, Matt Hardy type of guy.
Basically.
Makes sense.
Hey, Sammy's looking like a star doing that. Like one of the greatest of all time, Matt Hardy, just destroying him and almost like killing him, like he said. Crazy. Cardona, my boy, Matt Cardona wins his AEW debut, teaming with Cody against the Dark Order. So he looked fine, nothing special. But the main focus of that match was Scorpio Sky at the end of the match coming out to greet Cody, basically saying that they're gonna fight next week for the TNT title. Weren't we supposed to see the new design by now? Isn't that what Cody said?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out this week, I thought.
This week coming up.
Yeah.
Okay,
they don't have one.
So Wednesday. So Wednesday.
They don't have it. It got lost in the mail.
Yeah, like. I'm speechless because they said they're having a new design. Why even say that if it wouldn't happen within the next week or two?
Just splash gold on it and call it a day.
Like, literally, get Brandy to put some paint on it because we know she can't wrestle, so maybe she can paint. So to have her paint it, and that's it.
Are you saying because of her ability or she's injured? Because I haven't.
Oh, because of her ability.
Okay.
She's great at other stuff. Wrestling is not one of those things. I'll leave it at that. So
Clark, how are the action figures though?
Oh, brother. It's a mess. After we touch AEW, okay. I'll talk about that a little bit. Two last things. The debate between Jericho and Orange Cassidy was one of the most entertaining things I've seen on TV.
Knew it was going to be.
I've watched this over on YouTube because I wasn't watching live at the time, but it was just Jericho talking to Cassidy about yada, 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 whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're asking questions. The moderator was Eric Bischoff, and he was asking them questions, and Cassidy was silent for a majority of the time. I'm trying to pull up the exact quote right here. Question was like, why is Orange Cassidy so popular? Jericho would respond, blah, blah, blah. But the question that struck me the most was, what are your thoughts on the global sea level rising? So Jericho didn't want to answer, but Cassidy went on saying this huge statement of hearing him just talk for the first time about politics and the sea level rising and all that. It was just hilarious. It was great comedic timing. And then another question was, why does this rematch mean so much to both of you? Jericho started talking, but Cassidy told him to shut up, and Cassidy went on a big rant saying how he's gonna beat Jericho next week. So it was entertaining, to say the least.
If Cardona doesn't take the title off Cody, Cassidy, which I think he's going to,
yeah,
it should be Cassidy.
It should be Cassidy, right? He's so entertaining.
Because Cassidy's so good, but I don't know if he's world champion though. I think it would be give him the TNT title and see how it goes.
I think that'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I think the stipulation of the match was the winner has to give the loser $7,000 because the jacket that Jericho wore was $7,000, and he got the orange juice all over it. So I think that's the stipulation. If
they're going
Cassidy
back.
were to lose,
They're going back to when Ambrose ripped up his
The
light
scarf.
up jacket.
the scarf
the
or
scarf.
the jacket, yeah, the
Yeah,
jacket,
the
the
jacket.
scarf, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's like that. But
that's probably a subtle shot at that too, a little bit.
probably. And Mitch the potted plant. We remember that. Last on AEW, Moxley defeats Darby Allin to retain the title, and it was a pretty good match when I saw the highlights of it. We knew Darby wasn't winning on a regular show.
Darby's really good, but like
Not established enough.
How
in AEW.
many times are you gonna put him in really good matches that he loses? You know,
Too many.
It becomes a little bit of a annoyance thing where it becomes like a Dolph Ziggler thing. Like it's like, okay, this guy's good, people like him. When does he get his time?
Exactly. Like I said, Moxley's done nothing with the title that much, so hey, that's bound to happen with MJF.
Yeah,
But
I think Jericho elevated that title a lot higher than Moxley.
yeah, I miss him as champ. But all right, let me talk about these AEW action figures really quick because these have been on my mind for a little while before we jump into SmackDown. August 3rd, a week ago today, was the day they were supposed to be in stores all over the United States. Lead designer of AEW figures, Jeremy Padower, was woken up to the news that they weren't anywhere to be found. And he said, oh, be nice to your employees, COVID, all that. I get that. I go the next day, August 4th. They're still not there. August 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Today's the 10th. There's no figures still. They're hitting other places. They're hitting Arkansas and Hawaii, I saw. Why the hell not in New Jersey? But they're coming. I got a ring today, an AEW ring, so that was nice at least.
Any figures with it or just the ring?
Just the ring. It was just
How much was that?
20.
That's not bad.
No.
It's
big. It's a big ring. I would get it, but it's in my other room.
I was looking at the figures, like pictures of it. I feel like the Kenny Omega is the worst looking face scan out of them all.
The hair is like dark, and he doesn't have that dark hair anymore.
It's something about the goatee that also kind of makes it look cheaper than the others.
And I heard like the skin tones are off too. Like they're like really pale. They look pale.
How much do they run for the figures? Are they standard?
20.
Okay,
so
they're standard
20.
price.
Yeah, they're. Go ahead.
The one thing I'm like really waiting for AEW is the video game.
That did be fun.
Yeah.
Because they have gamers like there.
Yeah.
And
because Omega.
We know how and the Young Bucks and
also
like,
the ref Aubrey. She also like was a video game designer.
Yeah.
Designer. Yeah.
They know good video games.
So that
they know what they want to do.
Thank God. Right.
Who's the company they're working with? Do we know that?
For video games?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Hopefully it's not 2K.
It's definitely not 2K. But
bring THQ back.
I just want to know how, like, because they talk about the video game a decent amount.
Yeah.
I just want to know how far off we are.
Yeah.
Or can we expect it on, like,
I say fall.
Next year?
Maybe early next year, fall.
I was like thinking maybe next year.
Maybe a tease in, like, E3 time to get it for the fall then. So almost like a year from now.
A year from now, yeah.
Well, I mean, and this definitely couldn't happen, but if they could have dropped it with the next-gen console, that would have been big because WWE's not.
Well, but see, maybe they're also waiting for a full gen cycle to go by so they don't do a half and half port.
Probably.
Yeah.
And just focus on next-gen tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Just picture though, if it drops the same time fall next year when 2K22 comes out, and 2K22 is a mess again,
which it most likely
it very well could be.
It will be.
Then 2K is never getting that license back.
No, they're done. Which is fine. Whatever. I'll play the 2K Battlegrounds game.
I hope that's good. What is that? Doesn't that come out this month? No, God, no. That comes out
early. Or mid-September.
Yeah.
Madden's this month. It's Madden month, baby.
Oh, boy.
All right. Let's quickly go through SmackDown. Just the most important things. It was a very no-contesty SmackDown. A lot of no contest happened. A lot of, like, disqualifications or all that nonsense or blah, blah, blah.
What is – if a manager attacks another manager,
I know.
When in the world has that ever ended a match?
That never should have.
Only last Friday on SmackDown. That's the only time.
It doesn't.
That doesn't make sense. No.
They bend the
does
rules
not.
when they want it to be.
Like, that's dumb.
Those people aren't in the match. How is that a how?
I have no words. I thought my dog.
Yeah, that's your dog. That's definitely not Jesse's cat barking.
My dog's made an appearance on the podcast. Look at that. But yeah, no, that was ridiculous. But Stephanie, okay. All right. R.I.P. Oreo. Okay. Okay. I'm lost. I'm lost.
Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, Stephanie McMahon announced a cross-brand battle royal to see who's going to face Bayley at SummerSlam. It has to be someone obviously not on SmackDown. That's the only reason why they're doing this. I think Shane is your pick. Shane is my pick for this.
They need her to do something.
Yeah.
The Shayna punch on Banks, it was bad. It was really bad.
The backstage segment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally looked so slow. It looked like it hit with absolutely no impact.
Yeah, no. A former MMA fighter needs to have a vicious-looking punch. Like, it looked like Shane McMahon's punches. Like,
yeah,
it looked literally like Shane McMahon's punches. But
yeah.
I'm glad they're opening up someone else to come to SmackDown to add to the roster there. Probably going to beat Bayley if we're being honest, whoever it is.
It needs to be Shayna.
There's no Shayna too.
Shayna or Naomi is the only logical choice.
Yeah,
that's it.
I agree. Okay, so we're continuing the saga of The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and not you, it did it again.
What?
Yeah, it does it every time. It does it every time.
God. Bliss. I was going to say Bliss instead. Fiend had Bliss in the ring and basically like trying to lure Strowman towards him to get him to come out. And then it was interesting. I just wanted to see more with it. And,
it's clear that they're using her to get at Strowman.
Yeah, I just don't want that to be the only reason why they use her.
Now, do you think they turn her into like...
Braun then said in the promo, though, that he doesn't care. He literally said, I don't care.
Maybe once he converts her, he'll care to like Sister Abigail.
Because that's like the Fiend got to somebody.
Exactly.
Because of Braun.
Once he sees that he can do that. Yeah.
So this is just me like thinking differently because maybe they'll do it. Do they double turn Fiend Braun? Because Braun kept saying in his thing, by the way, not a good promo. I'm sorry. But like the feud itself,
not bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Bray is carrying it.
Yes,
for sure.
Alexa is in second place for carrying this.
Yeah.
and she's just Braun is far and away last. I'm gonna say it. Shout out to Dante Vacatoro.
Wow.
I would rather have Jinder Mahal as champion than Brawny the Strowman.
I hope he doesn't listen to the show.
I wouldn't go that far. But
I think Braun is not a good champion. I think he's not a good promo. And I think his whole I'm the monster, I'm the ultimate beast, it doesn't work with a face character.
It's clearly showing through that this was a rush decision because of COVID-19 and Braun wasn't ready.
Yeah. Exactly. No, exactly. As my dogs continue to bark, we're going to talk about Retribution showing up on SmackDown too. They're not just on Raw. They're on SmackDown.
So this makes me wonder then if they really are going to be NXT, like
they have to be NXT people now, right? Yeah, I think
because they didn't run roughshod on NXT.
No, yeah, there's literally just Raw and SmackDown.
Unless they're waiting to do that
this week, so it wasn't 3 consecutive nights.
Could be. Very possible. Yeah, they take off Raw and SmackDown. Maybe this week and just do NXT. Possible. But what they did is when
are they going to Superstars?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Maybe
or 205 Live.
Maybe a way you build them up. And I don't know, this is me just thinking if you know contest So TakeOver before SummerSlam, let's say they don't hit NXT, and then Keith Lee, Karrion Kross match ends in a no contest because Retribution takes them both out.
Possible. Very possible.
I think that would be the best way to build up Retribution. Kross and Lee don't lose anything because they were attacked by like 10 people. Championship doesn't switch hands. You get to pull out that feud a little bit longer.
What if Retribution's Karrion Kross's squad?
I don't think
he doesn't need to be in NXT. He doesn't need to be in NXT.
No, he doesn't need to be.
But I also don't think Kross needs a posse because I think Kross isn't a
True.
leader like that. Like this, the leader of Retribution, if it's not Shane McMahon, needs to be like a cult leader, Dark Order leader, kind of thing.
I agree.
It can't just be like it can't be a CM Punk New Nexus thing. It don't work that way.
Don't work like that.
Yeah, it would have to go with like the imagery that they're using for their branding for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they did on SmackDown last week, technically, was they stormed the ring. They chased commentators away, chased all the crew away, spray painted the hockey barricades. They cut the rope with a chainsaw. They had a chainsaw. They had a chainsaw. On TV.
With a blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a legitimate chain on it.
It cut, and they just wreaked havoc, and they said something into the microphone, and we saw some like poofy hair come out of someone. I don't know if they're decoys yet. That's still not.
Some places say it is. Some people have no idea who they are.
I think it's best. Honestly, if they're doing a decoy, it's not because to throw us off. It's because they don't know what
they don't know
they don't know.
They don't know who to put in it yet.
They're still taking applications for it.
Exactly. But they ended this two weeks in a row where SmackDown ended insanely. First with The Fiend and Alexa, and now it ended this.
Yeah.
It turned on. Alexa turned on for a second. It turned on.
Just unplug it.
Yeah, I have to, but
I do like the idea of like maybe being underappreciated, like stars, like NXT guys. I mean, and it doesn't fit because we've seen them earlier on, but Cesaro Nakamura, Kevin Owens.
That'd be fun.
Like,
now, this would have been
list them.
Yeah.
This would have been perfect if Sanity was still a thing.
Oh yeah,
it's literally Sanity. It's basically almost Sanity. That's crazy.
Like if they
Sanity, WWE's gonna stop caring about it pretty soon.
But that's what I'm saying. Like this would have been the perfect way to bring up Sanity to the shows.
Yeah.
I agree, but then they didn't want to do anything with them. That's just
no.
Yeah, that's it for this week. Crazy week, if we're being honest. One of the most news-filled, most eventful Raw and SmackDowns, and some of us didn't have power for that.
Yeah, you got AEW figures back basically the same time I got figures. I got power back. So yeah.
I'd rather have figures.
Me. At some point I was going either way.
Well, that does it for episode 8. I think we're calling this.
I think this is 8.
This is 8, right?
Yeah. So this is whatever.
On
to the next one.
We don't need to number them, and when we talk, we don't need to number them anymore.
It only numbers when I label it and upload.
Exactly. So that was this episode of the Department Podcast. Don't forget, follow us on Instagram at @the_department_podcast. Follow us on Twitter at @thedepartmentp1. So, like I said earlier, subscribe to us on YouTube. Our YouTube numbers need to get up there a little bit, so it would mean the world if you guys subscribe to us on YouTube. But don't just subscribe to us on YouTube, too. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your favorite podcast apps. We are on there streaming as well. So please subscribe. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.